Okay, I'll try and make this somewhat short. Yeah, I don't really know what to say except for I've really been kind of self-sabotaging lately. I don't know what the source of all this is. I wrote something pretty angry yesterday, but it was all what I needed to say at the time. So there's that, and I meant all of it. I really shouldn't have to follow what's expected of me by others. The only person whose expectations I should seek to rise to are my own. And those a lot of times are the hardest for anyone to reach. And in attempting to achieve those, a lot of times people come off as selfish because they want to and they need to maintain where they're at. Especially for that would end up happening with me, I think, because when I finally get what I want, or when that's not 100% true, because every time I've had like the physical aesthetic body figure that I wanted, I've let that slip because I thought I have it, so I have it type thing. But in all reality, if you have something, like permanence is a very tricky thing. There are very few things that have permanence, that are just permanently the way they are. And so I've got to start paying attention to that. Just like I need to start. I'll say this 1,000 times. I need to start working on the music more, but I'm conflicted at the moment because, or it's not music, just sound in general. I need to work on it more because even if you work on it a little bit and aren't feeling it, it's better than not working on it and not getting more experience. I don't know, I've just been kind of like hopeless, or not really hopeless, I guess, but more like angry, and when I'm not angry, I'm kind of restless. Like I would rather be doing something that I don't know what I'd rather be doing. I'm trying to shake that off and just enjoy the being alone aspect of it again. Because I think that just the outside world is getting to me again in that respect where, it's summer. You're supposed to be out with friends and doing things. But that's not the case for everyone. Especially for the people who don't necessarily have that readily available as most other people do. I don't. So I guess it'll just be coming to terms with that and not eating my feelings in the process. But yeah, I guess there's only really ever been two major ways that I've coped with my depression, or the quick fixes, and that's by buying things or eating terribly or buying things, or eating mass amounts and buying things. but I know that I'm managing things enough to where I don't bury myself again completely. Like, I'm still working out. I'm taking my vitamins still. Um, I am still waking up at the right time, or at the same time every day. Um, I'm still doing what I need to do. And referencing back to things, again, that I've said in the past, even if you're moving slowly, you're still moving, which is better than not doing anything at all. I mean, it's better if you can move faster, or the faster you can move is better, but still, moving slowly is better than staying put. I forgot what exactly I was talking about. There was a point somewhere. Oh yeah. And another thing that I'm doing well on, that proves I'm doing better than I ever have, is I realize that I don't have the money to be spending on, like, really random odds and ends, which is perfect. So that kind of narrows it down to the habit I've always had of eating, which I've got to stomp out if I want to carry over into other things, because that's how it was last year. I stomped out my bad eating habits for, I'd say, till about August, for about 7, maybe 8 months. And then fall started coming around, and another failed attempt at a friendship, and the sadness always comes with being around my birthday, because I always had this this interest in having, like, a whole bunch of people coming over and, like, hanging out. But this year I think I'm gonna have a more realistic approach to that and not expect anything. To not have expectations sometimes is a lot better. Or going into things with a completely blank perception, like, it could be anything type thing. And this year I'll have to look into it like, this is just my birthday. It is a special day. Means you're wiser. For another year, you're even alive still. Another year, stronger for the most part. But yeah, so that's, and it was around Halloween, so, like, I'll have to separate Halloween and sweets. Have to separate those two, because just because it's Halloween doesn't mean I need to have sweet things. Or maybe I'll try to have one sweet thing per week, because, okay, this weekend I kind of, I didn't kind of, I went on I pretty much went on a binge with eating things, like cookies and ice cream. But the thing that I realized, even when I did it, was I wasn't really asking for these things. Like, I was, physically, but did I really have a desire in them? No. In my mind, I wanted them to try and fix things, like, or my body wanted them, like, my mind, former habits were kicking in. Like, oh, you can self-medicate. But in my head I was like, I don't really want this, and I didn't even really taste it when I was eating it. Like, it was like an empty joy. Like, it just felt awkward and all around unpleasant. And then, meanwhile, it's just building up more and more problems. So I'm just gonna call that like I've got to stop using things with like drug effects, things with temporary fixes that will leave me down afterwards, or leave me down even further afterwards. So avoiding sugar and booze be my two best friends, or at least for a while. Like, because of moderation, but I've been doing them so much the past couple months that I need to take an absence for, I don't know, I'm gonna say at least a month or two before I feel comfortable doing it again. The alcohol, skipping on that, will only be somewhat problematic around events, like around events with people, because right now, and the only reason for that is because I feel uncomfortable in my own skin. Once I start to get back into the shape that I was in, I won't care as much, like if I need or if I have booze or not, because I'll feel confident, because I'll be happy with everything, at least this, or body-wise. And someone said it best in a commercial yesterday, in a commercial for hair restoration, of all things. They said, when you feel, or I don't know, I don't remember exactly what they said, but essentially they said how I feel about things, which is when you feel you look good, or when you feel good about yourself, yeah, that's pretty much the message. When you feel good about yourself, it's a lot easier to do everything else. And I was telling the boyfriend too, the top 3 things that I have to work on at all times are finding work, managing my emotions, and well, those are the 2 biggest things I have to pay attention more than anything else right now. Work and managing emotions, but managing emotions is number 1, because you can't really do much of anything else when you're like stuck. Like, it's very hard to move on, but this is going a lot further than, or a lot longer than I thought, and than I really hoped for. So